Good evening. Today is the 12th of July, and it's time for our monthly look at the top 10 best-selling cars of June 2025. So very much like last month, I'm recording this in the evening because it is ridiculous at the moment in this country, at least in the south and the Midlands. It's 26 degrees at 7:30 in the evening. Earlier on today, it was above 30, which is bonkers, and I don't have air conditioning in this car. I tried to fix it, but never mind. So we'll just get on with this. It's much cooler now, and we can continue with our monthly decision. So what we're going to do is look at the Society of Motor Manufacturers and Traders (SMT) figures for June 2025 in this country and see what's going on. First of all, we will start with the power source mix, I call it, which is, do cars have petrol engines? Are cars electric? Are there mild hybrids and things like that? So, the top of the list here, that they're very, very big on electric cars at the SMMT. I'm back from the test day I went to back in May. Mike Halls, who is the chairman, he does desperately want to sell more of those in this country. Whether or not you agree with that, I don't know. But he has succeeded because in June 2025, they sold 47,000 battery electric cars in this country. When I say sold, I mean they registered. There's a bit of a difference, but I just prefer to say sold because it's a bit easier for me. That contrast actually between last month and June 2024, where they only sold 34,000. Now, the percentage change of that is 39% up. Market share has gone from 19 to 25%. It's still short of the zero emission vehicle mandate thing, which does govern a lot of the sales in this country. And bear in mind, which we'll discuss a bit later, most cars that are registered in this country are to fleets, not to the general public. Let's have a look now at plug-in hybrid electric vehicles. That's also gone up. It's gone up from about 17,000 in June 2024 to 21,000 last month. It's a 29% increase, and market share has gone from 9.3 to 11.2%. Hybrid electric vehicles, this is like everything basically these days. Suzuki Swift, the Toyota Corolla, loads and loads of different ones. Those are the ones that just come to mind actually, because those are exclusively available with hybrid powertrains, not plug-in hybrid, just hybrid powertrains. They've actually gone down very slightly from 26,000 to 24,000, which is an 8.5% decrease, really, because the market is actually up by almost 7% compared with June 2024, which is good, I suppose. So the market share has dropped from about 14.5% to 12.5%. Petrol has also gone down from 92,000 to 88,000. It's a 4.2% change down. Market share has dropped from 51% to 46%. For some really weird reason, this is a complete fluke of nature, the cars we don't talk about on this channel, which are diesels, have actually gone up very, very slightly. They've gone up from just under 10,700, just over 10,700, which is a 0.2% increase. And the market share has actually dropped because the overall sales are up from 6% to 5.6%, but it's a sort of anomaly, really. What we're going to do now is look at the sales type. This is differential between private, fleet, and business sectors. The fleet sector has actually increased very slightly this month. It's gone from around 106,000 last year to 115,000 last month, which is about an 8.5% increase. The market share has gone up from 59 to 60%. Next is the private sector. This has gone up slightly as well, from 68,000 to 72,000, which is a 5.9% increase. The market share has dropped very slightly, though, because the market's up by about 7%, so it doesn't quite reflect it, but it's remaining steady. It's gone from about 38% to just over 37%. Business segment is very, very small in this country. It's actually gone down. Market share has dropped from 3.2 to 2.5. The percentage change is about 16% down, because the numbers say that it was about maybe 5,800 cars last June, and last month about 5,000 in total. So we're now going to look at what you actually clicked on the video to see, which is the top 10 best-selling cars of June 2025. The chart doesn't actually tend to change too much. It's the same sort of mix of cars very often. Although the top model has actually changed. It's a surprise to me, this, but it's not too much of a surprise, if that makes sense. So the top one is Nissan Qashqai on about 5,000 registrations. Then the Ford Puma, that's the top seller this year. Then this is a surprise. We haven't seen this for a while, but it was very, very prevalent in 2022 and 2023, which is the Tesla Model Y, which is the third best-selling car of June 2025 on about 4,200. The Puma is on 4,400. Then the Corsa, which is in fourth place, which has had a bit of a renaissance recently as well, about 3,600 in fourth place. And the MG HS, which sells a lot of cars, but on Motability. It's actually quite a good car. I just don't like certain aspects of it. I think they could have kept some of the good aspects of the previous model and not thrown them all away whilst making the improvements that they have. But that's just me personally. But I drove one of those in September 2024, and I have had a very successful time with that review. Sixth position is the Tesla Model 3. All these cars are really close. They're between sort of 3,600 for the Corsa and then just over 3,500 for the Model 3. So positions 4, 5, and 6 are very close. Then it's for Clear Sportage in seventh position. Now, normally it's a bit higher than that. I don't know why this is, but it's about 3,400. Then the Volkswagen T-Roc, 3,300. Split up Nissan Duke, just over 3,250. And then in 10th position, the Peugeot 2008 of 3,200. The 2008 seems to be doing really, really well for Peugeot for some reason. I don't know why, particularly that model, but there we are. Let's now go on to how the individual brands are doing. With all these figures, please bear in mind that because the market's up by about 7%, this is sort of reflected. So if, say, a manufacturer sold 100 cars in June 2024 and sold 103 cars in June 2025, because the market's up by 7%, you would actually not necessarily see that as an increase. It might be a very slight decrease. So that's why some of these figures are a little bit weird, but some of them are bonkers, like over, I think, 700% increase or something in some cases. Abarth, Stellantis, not good. It's a huge difference. It's down by 83%. Their market share was 0.05. They sold 98 cars in June 2024. They sold 17 cars in June 2025, and it's 0.01. You can't really get much lower than that. So that's not very good for you. It's not a good start. They do have more than one model on, so both electric, a sort of 500e based thing and a 600e based thing. So there we go. Alfa Romeo, a very slight increase, which has been measured at 5.3%, but it's 189 versus 199 now. And the market share has actually slightly dropped. For the reason I've mentioned, because the market's up by 7%, and so it's gone from 0.11 to 0.1, which is weird. Alpine has had a very, very interesting June. They have had a 722% increase, but that only means 23 to 189 cars, and they have a very similar market share now to Alfa Romeo, about 0.1%. Now we're getting to the big hitters, Audi, which you'd think 9,700 sales would be extraordinary at 5% market share, but actually in June 2024 it was 12,000 sales and about 7% market share. It's actually down by about 19%. Bentley, very steady, about 0.04% of the market in both cases, and 64 versus 70 cars now, which is actually about a 9.4% increase for them. BMW, very, very popular brand in this country, like Audi. Last month they sold again a bit fewer than June 2024. We're about 13,500 down to 12,700. Market share has dropped from 7.6% to 6.7%, which is remarkable. That's down about 6%. BYD, on the other hand, my goodness me, in June 2024, they only registered about 700 cars, and that was 0.4% of the market. They have had a 558% increase, and it's led them to a state where they have 2.4% of the market, and they're on about 4,600 cars sold. It's bonkers. So we'll just bear that in mind. About 2.4% of the market. We'll see who they're beating. Straight on to Citroën. They have beaten Citroën, and it's almost like double what they've got. It's absolutely crazy. Can you imagine? They've not really been in this country very long on this second wave. The first wave was this thing called a BYD F6, which is like a London taxi type thing about 10, 12 years ago. Since the reintroduction, I think it was in 2023, BYD. It's not been long that they've kind of been taking over. Just bear that in mind. So Citroën, they were on 2,200 sales in June 2024. Last month, 2,700. The market share has actually increased from 1.3 to 1.4, which is a 22% increase. So it's quite good. It's just a brand like BYD makes them look a little bit sort of, well, small. So there we go. Cupra, who now I think sell more cars than Seat do, despite Seat originally being the parent brand. They have gone from a market share of 1.5 to 2%. Number of cars sold has gone from 2,700 to 3,900, and that is a 45% increase. Very good. Dacia, I don't know what's happening in Dacia at the moment. They seem to be going down every month for some reason. I don't know why. They should be more popular in economic times like this, but I suppose not. So 2,800 cars to 2,700 cars. Market share has gone down from 1.6 to 1.4. No, I'd say it's a 3% decrease. DS, how do I put this? It's actually very good. It must be that new model. What's it called? I forget the name of it. I think it's the DS something 8. I forget actually what it's called. I think it's a DS number 8 or something. Maybe it's those. I'm not sure. It's 579% increase. The number of cars sold has gone from 85 to 577. The market has jumped from 0.05 to 0.3. Maybe they're actually going to sell some cars over here now because they don't normally. So there we go. And Fiat doing sort of not so well at all. So they've gone down from 1,100 cars sold to 757. That Grande Panda can't come soon enough in order to reverse their fortunes, I suppose. Market share has gone down from 0.6 to 0.4. It's a 32% decrease. Fisker, the less said about that, the better. Let's move on. Ford, who, obviously were the top brand in this country for I don't know how long. Since the 90s, I think it was, for a long time. Well, they're not. Let's see here. Kia almost outsold Ford last month. Very close to it. It went about 200 cars. Just bear that in mind, viewers. So we went from 8,500 to 10,200. The market share has actually gone up a little bit from 4.7 to 5.3%, and that is a 20% increase, but it's not enough, really. Genesis have gone down a little bit, 13% down. Number of cars sold has gone from 183 to 160. Market share has dropped from 0.1 to 0.08. It's a shame because Genesis makes some of actually the best cars of their class. It's just nobody seems to listen to me or anyone else when we say that. They just go out and buy Audis and BMWs instead. So Great Wall Motors, then the Aura Funky Cat thing. It's not good news. The Aura 3, which is the new name for the Funky Cat, I think is going to go off sale quite soon. They're going to bring in some new models, as far as I understand it. 87% down. Number of cars sold has gone from 284 to 36, and market share has gone from 0.16 to 0.02. Honda, not good either. 26% down. Market share has dropped from 1.3 to 0.9. Number of cars sold has gone from 2,300 to 1,700. Problem with Hondas, I feel, is that they're very, very good. I drove an HRV recently; it was excellent, but they're just too expensive. The one I drove was trying to compete with the cars from the class above, like the Kia Sportage and the Hyundai Tucson, or it's Hyundai now, isn't it? Hyundai, but it's just not big enough. It's very nice. It's just not big enough. There's nothing really wrong with it. Apart from the fact you only get one powertrain, it's not that powerful. It's just not big enough for the amount of money Honda want for the cars. Very nice. It's just you'd be quite a hot fan of the brand to spend that much money. Hyundai. So we have a 10% increase, and the market share has gone up from 5.1 to 5.3. Number of cars sold has gone from 9,200 to 10,100. It's actually, for some reason, beats their friends at Kia. It's very unusual, actually, in this country for that to happen. Normally, it's the other way around. Ineos, they sold exactly the same number of cars um, last June as last month, 25 exactly. JQ, now this is crazy. They sold 2,400 cars last month from, well, a standing start of nothing in January. And, they have a market share of 1.3, which is going to beat quite a few brands, like, for example, Lexus. They've beat Lexus from a standing start. They've beaten Jeep, just going down sort of here as well. They've almost beaten Polestar. That's crazy. So Jaguar. Well, they haven't sold anything for a while now because they don't sell anything. So we'll just completely skip over them. Jeep. So very similar figures. It's a very small increase of about 2.8%. It's gone from 624 to 640, and the market shares remain steady at about 0.35%. So KGM, formerly SsangYong, actually had an increase of 41%. They don't really sell many cars in this country, though. They sell less than 3,000 a year. And the KGM Action I drove in May, it was quite a good car, but it's a bit like a Honda. It's quite expensive for what it is. And obviously, you're going to pay money to buy a Tucson or a Sportage rather than something you've not heard of, regardless of how good it is. But I quite enjoyed it because until recently we had a SsangYong and before it got written off. So yeah, there we go. So number of cars sold has gone from 106 to 149, which is about 0.08% of the market, up from 0.06. Kia, they actually have gone down slightly. Kia have gone down about 3% compared with June 2024. Number of cars sold is very similar. It's about 10,300 down to about 10,000. The market share has dropped though from 5.8 to 5.3%. Land Rover actually an increase of about 8%. They're profitable, unlike Jaguar. Hoping that Jaguar profitable now with the reintroduction of their models soon. Yeah, about 3% of the market in both cases. The number of cars sold has gone from 5,200 to 5,700. Leap Motor, we've got nothing to compare that against. Lexus. So we've got a bit of an increase, Lexus, about 22%. Market share has gone from 0.85 to 0.96. Number of cars sold has gone from 1,500 to 1,800. Maserati, it's probably worth sort of talking about this actually because they sell so few cars. It's gone from 38 to 33. Hooray! Yeah, Maxus, they didn't sell any cars in last June. They sold 8 last month. Mazda, right, let's have a look at this. Very good, 25% up. So they sold 3,600 cars last month as opposed to June 2024 when they only sold 2,900. The market share has gone from 1.6 to 1.9%. Very good. Mercedes-Benz, now they've gone down slightly, 8,900 down to about 8,100. The market share has dropped from 4.9 to 4.2, which is a 9% decrease. MG, now this is interesting because MG, they can't possibly have it all their way forever, especially when brands like BYD and Skywell and Amoda and JQ are turning up. They've probably taken some of their sales, to be honest. So yeah, 9% down. Market shares dropped from 4.6 to about 4. Number of cars sold has gone down to 8,300 to 7,600, which is still absolutely crazy in comparison with so many other brands on this list. They have sold double the number of cars Mini have. They've sold more cars than Renault have, and just short of Skoda, actually, really. Mini itself, so 3,700 cars down to 3,500. Market share has gone from 2% to about 1.8%, drop about 5% in total. Nissan are still doing okay in this country, actually, despite what everyone else around the world says. And obviously, Qashqai is the top selling model of June 2025. So, they can't be doing anything badly, can they? So, we've gone from 5% in the market to just under 5% actually. So that's decreased slightly. The number of cars sold is up by about 4%. It's gone from 9,100 to 9,500. A Moda, we've got nothing to compare that against, but they actually sold about 1,300 cars last month. They have JQ are doing better than them, but it doesn't really matter because they're both owned by Chery Automotive. So there we go. Peugeot, a bumper month, 77% increase, probably just down to about 2008. And the percentage has gone up from 2.5% to 4.2. Number of cars sold has gone from 4,600 to 8,000. Polestar, who I thought were doomed, but turns out they're not. 293% increase in comparison with June 2024. Number of cars sold has gone from 660 to 2,600. So market has gone from 0.4 to 1.4. Porsche had a bit of an increase as well, 7%, almost exactly the same as the market overall, which means that they're on about 8% of it. The number of cars sold has gone from 1,500 to 1,600. Renault, not as good, but very steady. They've gone down a little bit by less than 1%. Their market share has altered slightly from about 3.4 to 3.1. Number of cars sold is pretty much bang on, just over 6,000, just under 6,000. Seat, not as good as Cupra, or indeed almost even a Moda. It's not so good. I like Seat, though. I had one of those we started a channel in 2018. So Seat down by 47%. Market share has dropped from 1.8 to 0.9, and number of cars sold has gone down from 3,200 to 1,700. Skoda, much bigger sellers in this country than Seat for some reason. 28% increase. Market share has gone from 3.6 to 4.4. Number of cars sold gone from 6,500 to 8,400. Skywell, well, they sold 2 cars last month. And that's all the information we have. Smart, this is very strange. I thought they were bringing out lots of new smart models, but it turns out they are selling fewer cars than KGM. So there we go. Last year in June, we sold 135 cars. Last month, 124. And the market share has actually gone down from 0.08 to 0.06, which is an 8.5% decrease. Subaru actually doing a bit better than KGM. They've had an increase as well. So they've gone from 203 cars to 229 cars. The market share has gone up very slightly from 0.11 to 0.12, which is a 30% increase. Suzuki, for reasons I don't really understand, have had a decrease, quite a significant one, about 38% down. They've gone from 1.3% of the market to 0.7% of the market. Number of cars sold has gone from 2,300 to 1,400. Could it be that discontinuing things like the Ignis and stuff like that has caused them to lose sales? I don't know. Tesla, a very good month for them, with 2 cars in the top 10. I assume it's just because they've had a batch of them arrive on the boat and they've just registered them all together, because Tesla don't really have dealers in the traditional sense. They are more like representative agents of the manufacturer. I think Tesla Motor UK owns them. So they tend to register them as a big batch altogether. So we've gone 40% up. Market share has gone from 3.8 to 4, and number of cars sold has gone from 6,800 to 7,700. Toyota, a big brand in this country, of course, so they're not as big as last year. They've had a 24% decrease. Number of cars sold has gone from 11,000 to 8,400, and the percentage has gone down from 6.2 to 4.4. Vauxhall used to be a big player in the market. Let's just have a look and see how many cars MG have sold compared to Vauxhall. Oh dear, Vauxhall have been outsold by MG. It just shows how small the market is for Vauxhall now. Whereas in the 1990s, they were the top brand in Europe. They were bigger than Ford. Never mind, let's continue. Gone from 6,200 last year, actually up to 7,100. So the market has actually increased slightly from 3.5 to 3.7, maybe due to the new Frontier and the Grandland, I don't know, which is a 14% increase. Volkswagen absolutely destroyed everyone else. They always do. I have a very vlog actually I recorded about this at the moment and how popular their cars are in this country. They have a 10% increase. They've gone from about 8.6% of the market to 8.9% of the market. Number of cars has gone up from 15,500 to 17,000 it is now. Bonkers, right? Volvo, not that good. 9% down. Market share was 3.5. It's now 3. Number of cars sold has gone from 6,300 to 5,700. And then XPeng, well, 114 cars in June 2025. Nothing to compare it against. So we're going to go down to the overall figures. So last month they sold 191,000 cars in this country, up from 179,000 in June 2024, and that is a 6.7% increase. So thank you ever so much indeed once again for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like this video, comment below, and we shall see you again very soon for some more not particularly penetrative market analysis.